I want to talk to you about LLC business loans, no doc, low doc. And here we are having a conversation about a $5 million smart draw. So here's a review I want you to pay attention to. Number 9, we have businessloans.com. Our score, 7.7 over 10. So when you think about businessloans.com, I want you to think about a lending marketplace. So this is not a direct lender. It is a lending marketplace. But the cool thing here is that you are able to have a constellation of lenders who are going to vie for your business. This is really good. So we love the fact that businessloans.com will give you anywhere from $10,000 to $3 million. Okay. And the loan term here, we're speaking about 3 to 60 months. So this is kind of cool. I mean, you're looking at 3 months to 5 years. Fantastic. The APR is kind of decent too. You are looking at anywhere from 5% all the way to 25%, depending on the lender. Okay. And so in terms of requirements, they want you to be in business for at least 1 year. You got to have a minimum revenue amount of $20,000. This is a monthly. And you got to have minimum credit score of 500. So you can see here that the requirements are kind of great. So in terms of this is a pure no doc. You can have no doc or low documentation business loans for your LLC. Not a problem at all. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here to have a quick convo with you about LLC business loans, no doc, low doc for massive amount, of course. Number 8, we have here, credibly, our score, 8.5 over 10. So when you think about credibly is a great source for your LLC, no doc, low doc business loans. You are looking at a lender that is great for merchant cash advances. You have low factor rate. They accept FICO score as low as 500, and they only require 6 months in business. This is really good. And so credibly does more than MCAs. They do regular loans also, depending on the geography you're in, depending on your sector also. And the loan amounts here, you're looking at $5,000 all the way to $400,000. The minimum credit score 500. The loan term 3 to 15 months. So you're not looking at 5 years here. You're looking at 1 year and 3 months. So it's still okay in terms of the requirements. At least 6 months in business, $15,000 in monthly deposits, and FICO score 500. Number 7, we have Big Think Capital. Our score, 8.5 over 10. What we love about Big Think Capital as an LLC, business loan, no doc, low doc lender is that they are really flexible. Okay, you're looking at a great lender with flexibility here. They have excellent customer service, and so this lender requires bank statements only. They're not asking you for a business plan or your incorporation documents, your organization documents. They really don't care. I mean, they will find out anyway if your LLC is in good standing. And so they have low rates compared to other low doc lenders. And you can actually get up to 100% LTV, so loan to value. And the good thing is that you can actually get your approval within 24 hours, not a problem at all. So what are we looking at here? The loan amounts here, $10,000 all the way to $5.5 million. And the APR starts at 8%, so this is really good. And the APR can go all the way to 28%, depending on the geography and your sector. Minimum credit score here, 600. And the loan term can go all the way to 10 years. So this is just fantastic. What are the requirements here? So they want you to be in business for 6 to 12 months. You got to have at least $100,000 annual revenue. And the credit score, 550 to 600. Okay. But the loan amount is really good, 10,000 rather, to 5.5 million. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you today's topic. We're having a conversation about LLC business loans, no doc, low doc. We're having a conversation about a $5 million power play. Fantastic. So number 6, we have KickPay. Our score, 8.7 over 10. What we love about KickPay is that this is a great source for inventory financing, especially if you're looking for e-commerce business loans. And so this is a true no doc loan. They will send funds directly to your manufacturer. And here you have low financing fee. There's a low financing fee of 3 to 7% of the manufacturing cost, depending on the situation. But overall, you can be financed up to $500,000. This is really great. And in terms of, there is a fee of 3 to 7%, and the loan term up to 16 weeks. So you're not looking at 1 year, you're looking at 16 weeks. But again, hey, listen, it is totally worth it. Number 5, we have fund through. Our score, 9/10. So fund through is a true LLC business loan, no doc, low doc, massive amount here. And this letter is great for invoice factoring, but also business term loans. We love the fact that you can actually be approved all the way to, it really depends, but you can actually be approved for $10 million. Think about that. $10 million. This is really good, but this is for invoice factoring though. But in terms of regular loans, they can actually fund you all the way to $1 million. They will accept all kinds of credit score, not a problem at all. This is a true low doc business lenders for your LLC. They require only 3 months in business, not a lot. 3 months in business, that's it. Now there is a high invoice requirement, so your LLC must have like the value of your accounts receivables must be really high, and this is invoice. The thing is that fund through doesn't serve a large constellation of economic sectors. They serve only a limited number of industries. But hey, listen, if you qualify for their industry, that's just really great. So the loan amount here starts at $10,000, goes all the way to $10 million. Okay, in terms of the fee, you are looking at 2.75 to 8.25%, and the loan term 1 to 60 days, and you got to have at least $100,000 in accounts receivable to one customer. Okay, and they only do it can be B2B or government agencies. They're not doing B2C. If you have B2C invoices, they're not going to qualify you. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation today about LLC business loans, no doc, low doc for massive approval. We are looking at a $5 million power play here. And number 4, we have here Blue Vine. Our score, 9.2/10. When you think about Blue Vine, I want you to think about one of the fastest and least expensive credit lines on the market. And we love the fact that you have a no doc application. You have a low 29% starting APR, and you have a 24-hour turnaround. And the only thing is that not all industries will qualify, and there's no options for partners or sole proprietors. So you got to be a true LLC. Even if you're a single member LLC, you can qualify, but you got to be an LLC. And there is a high revenue requirements. In terms of loan amounts, $6,000 all the way to $250,000. Okay. And the minimum credit score goes from 575 to 625. The loan term here is 6 to 12 months. The requirements, you got to have at least 1 to 2 years in business, $40,000 in monthly revenue. So it is what it is. But overall, this is a great lender. We love Blue Vine a lot. And we love the fact that they're constantly adapting to your situation as well. Number 3, we have Backed. Our score, 9.5/10. So when you think about Backed, I want you to think about a lender that is great for working capital loans for your LLC. And Backed can be low documentation or no documentation LLC business loans, depending upon the situation, depending upon the industry you're in. And Backed working capital loans are short-term financing designed to help LLCs cover overhead costs. It only takes a few minutes to apply, and you can get your funds within 24 to 48 hours after approval. And if your company, if your LLC operates in a big market such as California or New York, you could be approved within 24 hours. We love that a lot. And Backed also has flexible eligibility criteria, only requiring 1 year in business, $100,000 in annual revenue, and a FICO score that oscillates around a minimum FICO score that oscillates around 550 to 600. Okay. But with a relatively minimum loan amount of $10,000 and short terms of 6 to 12 months, this, in our view, is not ideal for LLC one-off expenses and LLCs that may really face high semi-monthly, weekly, or daily payments. Because remember, you're gonna have to repay Backed on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and sometimes on a bi-weekly basis. So just think about that beforehand, okay? And Backed also doesn't work with some quote-unquote high-risk industries like LLCs in legal services and real estate. So it is what it is. So what are the pros and cons of backed here? Backed pros, you have a quick application. They do accept bad and fair credit, and the company only requires 1 year in business. What about the cons here? You have daily and weekly payments that may be sometimes inflexible for some LLCs. You have potentially high monthly costs, and some industries are ineligible. So the loan amounts here, 10 grand to $2 million. The APR is competitive. The loan term 6 to 12 months, okay, and the minimum FICO score 550 to 600. So this is just something that you need to know. But yeah, in terms of annual revenue, your LLC must make at least $300,000 in annual revenue. Number 2, we have on deck. Our score 9.6 over 10. So when you think about on deck, I want you to think about the best short-term business loan for your LLC when it comes to no documentation and low documentation. So on deck is an online lender that specializes in short-term loans and lines of credit for LLCs and other small businesses. It requires most borrowers to submit only 3 months of business bank statements, which you can really download from your online bank account. Not a problem at all. And on deck, when it comes to LLC, no doc, low doc business loans, is really great because it's one of the few lenders that can fund your loan the same day you are approved. So, but it is an expensive option. So you want to save this lender for when you are willing to pay extra for convenience. Let's quickly go through the pros and cons of on deck for your LLC. So pros, you have same day funding available for all kinds of LLCs. You have reduced fees for repeat borrowers, repeat LLC corporate borrowers. What about the cons here? You have a APR that's kind of high. I mean, the starting APR is really high. You are looking at 30%. That's the minimum. Okay, 30%. And here you have the choice between prepayment penalty or higher rate. So you got to really ask yourself what really this whole thing is all about. And another disadvantage that we have found in our research is that on deck sometimes will require some documents depending on your geography. So in terms of your loan amounts, you are looking at the 5,000 all the way to $250,000. The average APR is around 60%. This is kind of a really high. Minimum credit score, 575 to 625. The loan term here, 2 years maximum. So you're looking at 3 months to 24 months. So it is what it is. And so 1 year in business, $100,000 annual revenue. And you got to have an active business checking accounts. And so the FICO score, remember, 575 to 625. As long as you meet those requirements, you should be good to go. Number 1, we have Lendio, our score, 9.8 over 10. So when you think about Lendio, I want you to think about a great LLC business loan, no doc, low doc lender. And Lendio is not a direct lender. Lendio is a marketplace. It's one of the largest big business loan marketplaces in the country, along with NBC, National Business Capital. We love Lendio a lot because of the convenience. We love Lendio a lot because of the constellation, the sheer number of business lenders who are vying for your business. You have about 75 to 85 business lenders. So this is really great. And you're talking about really great, like quality business lenders. You have a lot of banks in there. You have a lot of credit unions in there. You have a lot of alternative lenders in there. So you can pre-qualify for a range of options in a few clicks. And you can compare the terms you might qualify for with different no paperwork providers. So since no doc financing tends to come with higher than average rates, using the marketplace to compare offers can help you find a competitive deal. But be sure to reach out to the lenders to make sure it doesn't require any paperwork before you continue with your application, though. This is important. So what are the pros and cons here? So pros. Lendio partners with over 75 lenders. I mean, based on our research, the latest count is around 83 to 84 lenders. You have a wide range of different types of financing. So for your LLC, of course, you have business loans, you have business lines of credits, you have equipment financing, you have all kinds of alternative financing, you have MCAs, you have invoice financing. So you have a large mishmash of LLC business funding. And there are options for bad credit, of course. What are the cons here? Well, Lendio is not a direct lender. I've just said that. It is a lending marketplace. It is a loan marketplace. And some lenders may require paperwork. So in terms of loan amounts, you are looking at $500 all the way to $5 million. The APR starts at 5%, 3 to 5%. Minimum credit score, 525. Okay. Loan term, 1 to 30 years. So this is really great. But you got to have a bank account, a business bank account. So, but overall, once you have those, you are good to go. And what we also love here is that Lendio operates in the US and Canada. So if you are a business and you actually operate in 2 countries, in both countries, you can actually find lenders in Canada also, while like through your application, through your single application on Lendio, you can actually be you can actually reach out to Canadian lenders but also American lenders. So this is really great. So let me give you an overview here. The thing is, when we talk about LLC, business loans, no doc, low doc, it's important to go back to the definition so everybody has a clear idea what we're talking about. How no documentation lenders work. Now, a no doc business loan doesn't require that, like, it doesn't mean you won't fill out any form. It just means that you may not be required to complete paper forms or fax documents to your lender. So in some cases, you can get around document requirements completely by connecting with your business's other online accounts. This is particularly common with e-commerce seller financing, especially, let's say, if you are borrowing from a platform like a PayPal or Amazon, okay, and some lenders are low doc rather than no doc. They require you to submit an online application and PDFs of a few key documents. You might also need to give them access to specific business accounts for verification. So if you want to find the right, let's say, how do you find the best no doc lender for your LLC? The thing is, when comparing no doc lenders for your LLC to find the best one for your LLC needs, ask this 5 important questions. Is this the right loan for what I'm trying to accomplish? Can this lender give me all the funding I need? Are the rates and fees competitive? How long would it take to get my money? And does my LLC meet the eligibility requirements? So this is an important element to really have in mind. And one thing you need to understand, when we talk about online no doc lenders versus banks, it really depends upon convenience. It depends upon your situation and strategy too, because when you are deciding between a no doc lender versus a traditional loan from a bank or credit union, it's essential to evaluate your LLC's specific circumstances, financial situation, and priorities. So here are some pros and cons to consider. So pros: you have a quick application process, you have faster funding, and you have options for bad credit. What about the cons here? Well, you have higher interest rates, so your LLC must brace itself up for that eventuality. So you may have daily or weekly repayment patterns here, and this no doc, low doc loan process may be more expensive. And you need to understand, when we talk about no doc providers, there are some alternatives here. You have business loan marketplaces, such as I said, you have Lendio, and you have NBC, National Business Capital. You have Smart Biz also. And you also have community banks, and you have startup funding. So you do have a lot of players to reach out to. All right, let's quickly do a recap here. But before I do this, please check out our LLC business loan no doc, low doc evaluation approach. We have a system on this show when it comes to evaluating those loans. So please check this out. All right, number 1, we have Lendio, our score, 9.8 over 10. Number 2, we have On Deck, 9.6 over 10. Number 3, we have Backed, 9.5 over 10. Number 4, we have Bluevine, 9.2 over 10. Number 5, we have Fun Through, 9 over 10. Number 6, we have KickPay, 8.7 over 10. Number 7, we have a Big Think Capital, 8.5 over 10. Number 8, we have Credibly, our score 8 over 10. Number 9, we have businessloans.com, our score 7.7 over 10. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.